distinguished senior counsel, member of the bar, members of the family of Justice Tarun Chatterjee, and all present here this morning. We gather here to commemorate and pay tribute to the life of a truly remarkable individual, Justice Tarun Chatterjee, who left for his heavenly abode on 7 July 2023 at the age of 78. In the course of his 40 years of service to the nation, Justice Chatterjee wore many hats. In him, we have lost an inimitable legal mind, a mentor, and above all, a lawyer dedicated to the selfless service of the Constitution. Justice Chatterjee's distinguished lineage can be traced back to his great-grandfather, Sri Digambar Chatterjee, who was a judge of the Calcutta High Court. His grandfather, Sri Gunamoy Chatterjee, was an executive magistrate, and his father, Justice Purushottam Chatterjee, was also a judge of the Calcutta High Court. Following in the footsteps of his illustrious predecessors, Justice Chatterjee graduated in law from Calcutta University. In 1970, he enrolled as an advocate in practice to the Calcutta High Court, building a strong reputation in civil and public law disputes. Remarkably, in a span of less than a year, he appeared before 5 special benches of the High Court. His unique conversational style of advocacy earned him recognition and appreciation from both the bar and the bench. As Winston Churchill said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." Justice Chatterjee not only excelled as a lawyer, particularly in civil law where he had a large practice, but also served as a mentor to several other juniors who had the distinction and privilege of learning from him. One of his judgments, Justice Jyotirmoy Bhattacharya, eventually retired as the Chief Justice of the Calcutta High Court, and Justice Vivek Chaudhary is presently a judge of the Calcutta High Court. Many of his juniors have gone on to occupy eminent judicial positions and set up flourishing practices. Justice Chatterjee would appear in pro bono causes and would be engaged as special counsel in matters involving intricate points of law. Recognizing his brilliance and commitment to justice, he was called to the bench and appointed as a permanent judge of the Calcutta High Court on 6 August 1990. Later, he went on to become the Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court. During his tenure as Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court, Justice Chatterjee had occasion to decide several important cases. Among them was a case involving the setting up of small districts in the state of Uttar Pradesh. A bench of Justice Tarun Chatterjee and Justice Ashok Bhushan delivered judgment, setting aside the decision. Anecdotal evidence indicates that when the matter went in appeal to the Supreme Court, Justice Ruma Pal, sitting on the bench, complimented the craftsmanship of the judgment. Elevated to the Supreme Court on 27 August 2004, Justice Chatterjee made significant contributions to the jurisprudence of this court. Notably, as a member of the bench in PA Inamdar versus State of Maharashtra in 2005, he played a key role in a landmark judgment that emphasized the duty of educational institutions to ensure accessible and transparent admission procedures. He was appointed as the head of a commission constituted for the Assam-Arunachal boundary dispute. Justice Chatterjee retired from this court on 14 January 2010. Retirement from the bench was hardly his retirement from public life. Shortly after, he was appointed as the chairperson of the Uttar Pradesh Human Rights Commission. But he had life apart from the law. One of his passions was driving. He had a Landmaster vehicle, which he owned, and he took his friends over long distances, including a trip to Banaras as well. Throughout his distinguished career, Justice Tarun Chatterjee exemplified the true essence of justice and of judging. His unwavering commitment to upholding the Constitution and defending the rights of individuals set him apart as a jurist of unmatched integrity. He possessed an extraordinary understanding of the complexities of the law and the evolving needs of society, which guided him in making decisions that stood the test of time. Beyond the courtroom, Justice Chatterjee was a beacon of kindness, humility, and empathy. He had an exceptional ability to connect with people from all walks of life, treating each person with utmost respect and understanding. Simplicity defined his life and its mission. What is this life if full of care? We have no time to stand and stare. The first lines of Leisure, a poem by Welsh poet W.H. Davies, published in 1911, resonate deeply with Justice Chatterjee's approach to life. Throughout his illustrious career, Justice Chatterjee never allowed the pressures of his offices to come between his love for football and cricket. Even until his last breath, he remained an ardent supporter of the Mohun Bagan Club, one of India's oldest and celebrated football clubs. The words of the renowned Roman orator and lawyer Marcus Cicero echo through time. The soil of their native land is dear to all the hearts of mankind. Justice Chatterjee's remarkable contributions to his village stand as a testament to his unwavering passion and dedication. He was a member of the Vivekananda Society of Kolkata and contributed immensely to the educational institutions of his village of Malara, situated in the district of Bankura in West Bengal. In this time of remembrance, let us find solace in the knowledge that Justice Chatterjee's impact on the lives of countless people will endure for generations to come. As we bid farewell to this respected jurist, let us recommit ourselves to honoring his memory by striving for a world that embraces fairness, compassion, and understanding. May his soul rest in eternal peace, and may his memory forever be a guiding light in our pursuit of justice.
Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court, Solicitor General of India, President of the Supreme Court Bar Association, Office Bearers of the Supreme Court Bar Association, President and Office Bearers of SCORA, respected family members of late Justice Tarun Chatterjee, and members of the Bar. Whenever we assemble to remember and pay our respects to a former judge of this court, we assemble to gather in our memory, in the most solemn way, the best of the life and contribution of the Honorable Judge, and to cherish forever the indelible values left behind by the Judge by conduct and pronouncements. We also recollect fondly some of the special and endearing qualities of the Judge, which might have impacted lives of people around her or him. So said, it can be said that about Justice Tarun Chatterjee, that honesty and simplicity, humility and intense commitment were his permanent qualities of life, always informing and standing by his side in his judicial functions. I have personal recollections of those qualities reflected in the effortless discharge of his judicial work. Rightly did the learned Advocate General of Kolkata in the obituary reference reminiscence. As a lawyer, he had a style of advocacy that was easygoing, devoid of histrionics, and more conversational. We will celebrate this quality as a Justice Chatterjee quality and aspire to practice it. It is said that in bearing the load of his huge volume of work, this quality earned him in the court the luxury of adjournment without entreaties. He is said to happily share his great volume of work with his chamber colleagues on the eve of his elevation and showed the great value of not retaining that which must be shared. I understand that Justice Chatterjee cherished pro bono work and willingly spent his time true to being a model professional. In keeping company with such values, never did he charge a doctor or a sports person. Justice Chatterjee loved many a sports activity and found time to watch a play. Time management in the midst of many a calls is an art, and Justice Chatterjee practiced that art artfully. A few words of understanding the judicial contributions of the Honorable Judge are important. In Union of India versus Devendranath Rai, a case of death penalty by the court-martial and a limited intervention by the High Court in writ proceeding, the Honorable Judge, even while invoking the balancing principle, did not decide the issue of penalty himself, but thought a remit to the court below was also in tune with avoiding impressionistic decision-making. Again, in Ajay Goswami versus Union of India, the Honorable Judge delicately handled the question of obscenity in the context of minors' exposure to sexually explicit materials, freedom of expression, agreed with the need for amendment of Section 14 of the Press Council Act 1978, but declined to invoke the mandamus route to command Union of India to carry out reforms, as that would call for many a policy mix. In Punj Lloyd was corporatress, the Honorable Judge was sensitive to the right of a consumer complainant to be heard notwithstanding disputed questions of facts. In Chandrasekhar versus the Additional Special Land Acquisition Officer, on the question as to a litigant should lose merely for reason of non-payment of court fees when substantial issues of compensation for land acquisition were involved, obviously the verdict went in favor of the land loser. In Residents Welfare Association Noida versus State of UP, as part of the bench, he could resolve thorny issues of stamp duty and market value and gave relief to the harrowed home buyers. One of the issues which often confronts Supreme Court lawyers is one of in limine dismissal of special petitions. He was in the bench in state of Kerala versus Karambam Musa, which rightly held, though no merger doctrine will arise if the dismissal is on delay. In the case of P. Venugopal, director of AIMS, he was on the bench which found fault with Section 11(1)(a) of the Institute Act, which gave room for arbitrary curtailment of tenure of the director. After retirement, he devoted his time to the cause of UP Human Rights Commission, a cause which he served with dedication. His sense of humor and amiable disposition earned him a big circle of well-wishers and friends. Even when unfounded talks about his work went around, I am told he withstood them with equanimity and believed in truth prevailing. I join the Honorable Chief Justice and Honorable Judges, members of the bar, in sharing my condolences with the members of his family.
Honorable the Chief Justice of India and other Honorable Judges of Supreme Court, Mrs. Kumkum Chatterjee, wife of late Mr. Justice Tarun Chatterjee, and other members of the family, learned Attorney General for India, Mr. R. Venkataramani, learned Solicitor General for India, Mr. Tushar Mehta, learned Chairman of Bar Council of India, Mr. Manan Kumar Mishra, and other colleagues, Mr. P.H. Parikh, former President, Supreme Court Bar Association, learned Additional Solicitor Generals, senior advocates, honorable sitting and retired judges from different parts of India, learned advocates, general of different states, office bearers of Supreme Court, members of Supreme Court Bar Association, including Vice President Sukumar Patjoshi and Honorary Secretary Mr. Rohit Pandey, President of Supreme Court Advocate on Record Association, Mr. Manoj Kumar Mishra, and other office bearers, the officers of Registry of Supreme Court, and my fellow colleagues. We have gathered to pay homage to Honorable Mr. Justice Tarun Chatterjee, a distinguished legal luminary and a pure soul. Since Honorable the Chief Justice of India and learned Attorney General for India have already spoken about the life and achievements of Honorable Mr. Justice Tarun Chatterjee, I will instead like to speak about how Justice Chatterjee touched the lives of other persons around him. I would start with the brief anecdote which I fondly remember. This is when I had first met Justice Chatterjee. It was the year 2002 and Justice Chatterjee was the then Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court. At that time, I was the Vice Chairman of Bar Council of India. Justice Chatterjee had been invited by the Bar Council of Uttar Pradesh for All India Conference of Lawyers at Agra. At that time, the situation in Agra was volatile and there was pulmonary tension. Many areas were under curfew. the District Judge Agra informed Justice Tarun Chatterjee that due to curfew, it will be risky for him to attend conference because there were high chances that the situation escalates and there could be riots and violence. Justice Chatterjee was advised not to attend the conference and he relented on the advice of the district judge. The bar leaders and the members were disappointed because for the lawyers, the grace of the event is only by the presence of the highest judicial dignity of the state, the High Court Chief Justice. When I reached the hotel in Agra, Mr. P.K. Singh, Chairman of Bar Council of Uttar Pradesh, told me that Justice Tarun Chatterjee is not attending the conference due to curfew in some areas of Agra, and he requested me to convince the Chief Justice to attend the conference. I talked to Justice Chatterjee and requested him to attend the conference, keeping the sentiments of the lawyer fraternity in mind. To this, Justice Chatterjee instantly told me that he will not let down the lawyers of Uttar Pradesh and he will travel by train even at the risk of being targeted by antisocial elements. He traveled through the night by train and attended the conference at the risk of his life. This was Justice Chatterjee to me, a religious and God-fearing man who stood by his commitment despite adverse conditions, who valued sentiments of others and understood their predicament. It is this sense of courage and brotherhood that will make me and also the lawyers of Uttar Pradesh remember him forever. My association with Justice Chatterjee continued ever since. On the occasion of Shivratri, we traveled together to Baba Vishwanath temple in Varanasi. To my surprise, Justice Chatterjee knew all the rites of the puja, so much so that we did not need any pandit. He guided me that first we should do puja at Kal Bhairav in Varanasi and afterwards at Baba Vishwanath. He would chant Durga Kavach himself at Durga temple in Varanasi. He was a regular visitor to Tarapet in West Bengal. He took me along once and I distinctly remember his words that he got elevated as judge of the Supreme Court only because of the blessings of Tarama, which shows that for his success he would attribute credit not to his hard work but to the blessings of Almighty. He also used to visit Mahakaleshwar Jyotirlinga temple in Ujjain. I had the occasion to visit this temple for the first time in my life only because of him. On my invitation, he attended the International Conference of Jurists in London. At that time, I needed one more speaker in the inaugural ceremony. I requested him to speak on international terrorism, and he spoke without any prior preparation. He spoke so fluently on the basis of his own knowledge and experience that many judges from Western countries praised him for his eloquence. In the year 2009, my book on Constitution was being presented to the President of India, Mrs. Pratibha Devi Singh Patil at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Such was his regard for the institution of the Supreme Court and for the Chief Justice of India that after the CJI had spoken, he said it would be a breach of protocol for him to address the gathering. All these little things which came from his wisdom are forever etched in my memory. During the presentation ceremony of my book on the Constitution of India at Raj Bhavan, Calcutta, Justice Chatterjee told me that he, having retired as a judge of Supreme Court, will sit among the gathering and not on the stage. Such was his humility and grace. Justice Chatterjee kept reminding me of the importance of always showing up. He was full of life and he had a funny bone. I will cherish my association for him forever, and his demise is a great personal loss to me. On behalf of the members of Supreme Court Bar Association, I offer condolences to his wife and family and respectfully pay homage to him. Jai Bharat.
May I request you all to stand up to observe 2 minutes silence in memory of late Honorable Chief Justice Tarun Chatterjee, former judge of the Supreme Court of India.
May I have your lordship's permission to conclude the proceedings?
The court will sit for normal work at 11:15.